Sorry, I just was in PTSD land of a video I saw, and I was just like back in it for a moment.
Oh yeah.
You ever get that where like you remember a video you saw on the internet and you're just like, "Ooh, I really fucking ruined my brain."
Yeah, there's a couple of those that are just like that. There's certain things you're just not supposed to see.
Yeah. Anyways, well, now I gotta talk about why.
Yeah, now you gotta
Before I get to
share.
shopping, I was just remembering this one wasn't that bad, but for some reason, something you said just triggered it, and my brain went there. It was this video of like how this lady knew that it wasn't her cousin who lit this house on fire, and the people were claiming it was because her cousin was over at her house and they were having sex. It was like on news.
Oh no, it's like on the nightly news.
Yeah. She was like being interviewed. She's like, I know he didn't light no fire. And they're like, well, how do you know? He's like, well, my cousin was over at my place. We were getting it on. And it was just like without any shame or hesitation. And like you see him in the background, like nodding his head, like, yeah. And it was just like, you guys know there's a lot of people wanting to charge you with something else at this point.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, I just remember, and America, the great, the beautiful, land of the free. I've been on a big shopping craze lately. Not shopping because I haven't bought any of this yet, but research and just like comparing prices and stuff.
In the shopping cart.
But I, in the last year, have realized it doesn't matter, Pat, how many guns you have or how much time you spend with them. If your enemy has the means to see you at night very clearly or to see you with like through thermal very clearly.
Right.
Because then you're just fucking blind to that enemy, and that enemy can just watch you all day, do whatever they want, and they can take you out. Whether you want to be all, it's going to be the fucking government, bud, or it's like China, or it's just airsoft. China. I've just been watching so many videos recently from like tactitubers on the YouTubes.
Getting a Harry Potter cloak.
No,
so you can hide out from them.
Those aren't real, dude.
Oh, damn.
Those aren't real. Well, if they are real, they're not on the civilian market.
Yeah.
No, but I've just been watching so many of how like they do examples of how night vision is just so fucking OP, and how like there's people out here who have like their kitted out guns, and like a lot of them are most of the time they're going and just roasting these airsofters by putting a thermal on like an airsoft gun, and like these overnight airsoft tourneys, they just go out there and just murder people, just like they're screaming in the dark, panic, looking around as they're getting like they like. On thermal can see their BBs hitting them and they like aren't reacting, so then they just like full auto hold down on them,
just creeping up towards their neck.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where like I was seeing that and I was like I just realized like you could spend and invest years and tens of thousands of dollars and get just freaking twerked by a scrub who has minimal training and can just see you at night. And you're sleeping, maybe you're on guard, whatever, but he can see you and you can't see him. And night vision is really expensive.
Certainly is.
Decent night vision is super expensive. Now, digital night vision's narrowing the entry point by a lot. But to get into night vision and do it right, to like have a setup where your goggles won't just break right away if the moment you start doing drills and running with them, you need a good helmet. And you need at least a singular good mono lens. And then you need a good like mounting hardware for that lens to that helmet. And then at the same time as you kind of keep going through these things, and
like you might as well have two lenses. You know
might as well have two.
Like if you're in it for $5,000, let's just get in it for 10.
What's the point of having night vision if you can't see your own fucking gun sights? So now you need an optic that is night vision compatible, or you need a laser that's night vision compatible, and you need one that will hold a zero, because there's a lot out there who claim to be night vision compatible. And sure enough, you can see them clearly through night vision, but they're cheap housing, and so they wobble and they drift, and the zero doesn't hold. And so it's just as bad as not having one in the first place. And anyways, I'm seeing all this and seeing how it's just fucking fucking like $6,000 just to get in.
Yep.
And that's the poor man entry.
Yep.
That's like you're not a gun tuber, bro?
Yeah.
You don't have 20 G's to drop on this setup?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do a card payment each month on this?
Yeah.
And, but you know what is accessible?
M&M's?
No.
A bag of M&M's?
Yeah, those are.
And a can of spray paint?
Those aren't going to do anything, I think, for to counter night vision.
Get high and eat some chocolate.
You could be fucking dead.
It's dead anyways, bro.
Yeah. No, bro. I've been doing research and I have been trying to find the companies out there that make 3-tiered camouflage. And that's not a real metric. That's just made up by Mick. The 3-tiered camouflage is that it actually distorts color and pattern in daylight. In IR, so just night vision, infrared, it like hides your visibility and blends in with like normal light level. And then 3 hides you on thermal.
Wow.
I've essentially found this company out of Germany that is making clothes that for the civilian market and that Americans can buy, and shipping is flat rate. It's like $30. But they're called Ghost Hood. And you should pull them up and take a gander. But Ghost Hood, people have been testing them out on IR stuff and on thermal. And Ghost Hood does a really, it's really great at actually hiding you on infrared. Like, it's so crazy good. And, one thing you won't believe is how many actual, ghillie suits out there or other, really great camouflage gear there is. That because of, the fabric... the way it was washed or cleaned or the chemicals on it from wherever it was manufactured, it's fucking neon and infrared, bro. It's neon. So many guys don't get, they're in their, ghillie suit that they spent $200 on. And then, you put a single, low-vis camera lens. I'm not even talking, a high-quality IR scope. But, just anything that sees low-quality light. And, you glow. You glow like a neon cone. Because... a lot of the laundry detergents that are on the market that most people use have in them fabric softeners and things like that make you essentially just pop out on infrared. Because that's essentially what makes your colors look brighter when you wash your clothes. And so that kind of laundry detergent makes you super visible at IR. But anyways, Ghost Hood, great for IR, but they also do a pretty good job from what I've seen in the videos where it compares them on thermal. They do a great job of hiding your thermal signature, but there's another really great actual just thermal blanket out there that looks pretty good under IR, but really it's kind of the thing you want to throw over, not for hiding from infrared, but just straight up oh, it's daytime or midday or whatever it is, it's not nighttime, and you hear the little drone flying zipping around, and you're like, all right, time to just pull this up over my head. You just pull it up, and it totally hides your thermal signature. And so I've kind of been into this realm of you know what? Maybe I won't be the assassin at night, but I tell you what, dude, I'll be sleeping while that assassin's where the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, you'll be in there with your M&M's.
Yeah. High on paint,
high on
eating chocolate while he
blanket.
Just stumbles around in the dark trying to find me. But yeah, what do you think about that, man? I mean, it's expensive, but it's not it's not even remotely close to what it takes to get into night vision.
On this, it's 230 euros. It's $300. What's that?
It's $235.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In American?
Yeah, euros is pretty comparable to
dollars
right now.
Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not bad. Not bad for...
And they're super light. And
looks like you can put it over anything.
Well, it really breaks down. There's videos of these guys fold up their whole hoodie. And it folds up into their jean pocket.
Yes, looks pretty sweet.
But I'm kind of at that point. I'm look, here's the thing. I could get night vision, but then I got to train a shitload with it too. And I don't have that kind of time, and I don't have that kind of money. And even if I did, the likelihood in a shit hit the fan situation that the other guy with night vision is less trained than me. I feel like it's pretty low at this point. Now, in a couple years, if I get that kind of financial money, situation, and I can train more, maybe I'll be better off, right?
Right.
But when I think about the dudes that I know that have night vision, I'm like, doesn't matter if I have night vision, that guy's gonna smoke my ass.
Oh yeah.
But if he can't find me,
yeah, you can hide out.
Yeah, so that's I'm kind of in the mindset of like counter clothing that will just keep you alive until fucking daytime when you can even the odds.
Dude, you know who needs those right now? The freaking conscripted Ruskies getting roasted by the dude. Have you seen the drone grenade videos, man?
I don't know, man. Have you seen a lot of the latest stuff coming out of like the research that like Tim Pool's been doing and like the people like the journalists he's had on? Apparently those numbers are really skewed, and like Russia's not losing as bad as we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone still thinks they're going to lose.
Yeah,
but it's not as bad as we thought.
Yeah,
but I have seen a lot of the videos.
Dude, it's just these.
Did you see the one where there was a bunch of Russians hidden in a house, and they're Ukrainians with like some American volunteers trying to take the house? Oh, dude, it sucked. There was these guys, Ukrainians and American volunteers trying to take the house, firing through the windows, throwing grenades through the windows, like super tight scenario.
Is the video from the Russian side?
No, from the American side.
American side. And
they spend like over 3 hours trying to clear these Russians out of this house because they think it's like Spetsnaz guys that came in through parachute. But what they don't know is that those Spetsnaz guys in there apparently somehow, because they were going across bands trying to catch them on the radio, but somehow they got through, and they ordered like artillery on their position, and just about everybody in the video was killed right after taking the house, or like super severely injured. And like the dude who was like the camera guy that you're watching, he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's weird, bro, because you like watch an hour of it and then it tells you like right after this they died.
Yeah.
And it shows like the injuries like of the dudes who survived, and it was fucking brutal, dude. Like holes through their body.
Yeah.
Like you could see through their shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, war fucking sucks, man. Especially this
bad.
war.
This
you know,
is a
like
bad one.
this is like no one's gonna come help you because no one thinks Poland's worth it. Or not Poland, but like Ukraine and eventually Poland, right? But it's like people who really want to fight war might come over.
Right.
But like people who know how much war sucks probably don't want to go over there.
Yeah.
Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, zero fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
Yeah, and like, regardless of like regardless of like supporting sides, any of that, yeah, just watching these videos of like, just like a drone flying over, like, there's just like, there are all these like, I feel like these Russian guys just kind of hung out to dry. They're just like out in these, they're just out in these like fields, and they're just in trenches, and it's like, if you were fighting World War II this way, you'd be fine.
Are they
Because
like actually digging trenches?
Yeah, dude.
Not just like foxholes?
There's some trenches and some
Wow.
foxholes, and
Wow.
and that's the way to fight. Before everybody and their
Drones.
mom had a DJI drone that you could
Yeah.
just throw up, and so it's like, yeah, like they're from looking from ground, they're totally covered. Then they just fly up a drone with a grenade, basically improvised, attached to it, and they just fly over the spot and just drop it on them right in there. And you just see these guys like trying to roll out of the way, and then they cease to exist.
Did you see that they had confiscated a BB gun off of one Russian guy?
No.
Yeah, dude. Like they don't even have guns, bro. Like they're sending a lot of those Russian conscript guys out there without fucking guns. Apparently, like the actual dudes who are like serious Russian war fighters, whoever gets sent up to the front, they just take whatever kit from them they can. And they're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to live out here, bro. You're done. Like,
Mm.
and so that's kind of apparently like the dog-eat-dog situation going on the Russian side. Because like the Russian war fighter, like the dudes who have stacked bodies for Russia for a long time across the world, like those guys are in Ukraine right now. And they're stacking bodies. Like, you got to think about like if America went to war, look at America's current military standing. Majority of America's army is going to get its fucking ass chewed out. Like the last time those guys saw real war combat against a significant force, like especially right now with like how bad our recruitment is and like how weak our military is. But then you're gonna have the fucking dudes who like go in and they bust their ass and they take the job seriously, and they're like actual war fighters. And those guys, they're like, no, dude, like war's what I do.
Right.
I'm not just like pushing papers at a desk, being another cog in the machine. Like, so give me your ammo.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna die.
Yeah. And this would be like even to shift it from being like our current military just to being like, if we got in a conflict with a peer-to-peer, like an equal force, you know, as far as their higher technology that's comparable to ours, and then we were doing a draft, and you're just drafting like, we're back in a draft, you're just straight up taking like local betas off the street, like those guys are in trouble.
Well, bro, dude, that's a lot of the people who are joining up. Like, have you seen like how bad their military recruitment numbers are?
I know it's bad.
It's really bad, bro.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to pull up some numbers real quick, but for the last 3 years, we've missed recruitment metrics, and that's not happened in a long time.
Yeah, they're in a rough spot there. In this week, it's supposed to actually happen today. The Wagner Group, which is like, you could call it like the Blackwater of Russia. Like they're one of their main mercenary groups. Their leader sent out a couple like crazy videos this last week because they haven't been getting ammo resupplies, and like all of his guys are getting chewed up out there, and he's just like sending these videos back to Russia being like, if you don't send us ammo, we're leaving in a week or whatever. And so I think it was supposed to happen today, so I wonder if they pulled out. And they're in a main town that's a border for the oh, my brain just, what's the region that Russia took in 2014 of Ukraine?
I mean, they took a lot of it.
But it's where the main fight's been going on. Why can't I think of this? The
Kyiv?
Not Kiev. It's on the south side, the south east side.
I don't know, man.
The Donbass. The Donbass region. It's like a
Donbass,
key. It's like a key city along the Donbass region. They're like, these guys are just going to pull out, which would be good for Ukraine, but
yeah,
but they're not like. Imagine being in a war as an individual. Imagine being in a war and the people you're out there fighting for aren't sending you ammo.
Yeah. Well, I just said they're sending guys out with BB guns.
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
But these are like some of their good fighters who they hired.
Well, you should look up who the Wagner Group is originally from. Because that doesn't sound to me like our Russian group.
Right.
That could be South Africa. Metrics for army recruitment, dude. How many people do you think they were shooting to recruit for? Like, what do you think they're like, oh man, we got to recruit this many this year to just stay alive, to stay afloat.
Did you say for America, for our whole military, or did you
For the Army.
For the Army.
For the Army to not like for the Army to like the bare minimum that they're.
I bet the bare minimum is like 500,000 a year or something. Like, because as far as people come in and out, what is what they need?
Lowers
what they need. Lowers what they're getting, or lowers what they need.
what they need.
I guess that is kind of a lot. 500. You know, like it's in the 100,000s. No, really. I expect it to be.
This is how
there.
pathetic it is, though.
So okay. So, what are they just trying to get like 30,000 people or something?
Their
in here?
goal in 2022 is 60,000. They're like, we got it. Let's set the bar low, 60,000.
Huh?
We can get 60,000.
I think Elon fired 60,000 people from
know,
Twitter
shit,
last week,
yeah.
bro. Like, what is he talking about?
And they only got 45,000 in 2022.
Hmm.
This year they're aiming higher, going for 65,000.
Wow,
Dude.
like crushing it.
But I've heard someone mention, they were like talking about this. I can't remember who was on YouTube. Someone I was listening to while I was just plugging away at work. They said like everyone right now who's young, who's prime recruitment age, is being told America fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So in what world are they going to think, I'm going to go die for this country?
What's the warrior poet guy?
No, it wasn't John Lovell. He
I
doesn't swear.
He literally put a video out this week. Same thing though.
Oh really?
Being like, he said, if America's being portrayed as an evil place.
Yeah.
So who in general, if they
believe it's an
evil place, are going to go sign up to fight in their military? It is Grupa Wagnera.
Oh, not Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner. So
Wagner.
they are network of missionaries. Yeah, network of mercenaries.
Church of Latter-day Saints.
A private army of Vladimir Putin's.
Yeah. Did you know all of Russia's military is privatized? There's no there's no government military. Everything is a private industry, like a private business. That happened after the Cold War.
Just so not communist. I guess they just flipped it all the way over. They're just like,
dude, it's not a communist country anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not a communist country anymore, but it's just like the roots still hold in there. I think as far as like they're just they just flip it all the way over. They're like, it's like nobody owns land, nobody owns anything, and then it's just like the next day they're like,
I own
the
military.
Government doesn't have a military. It's private. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
So
it's so funny.
But yeah, 65,000, huh?
This is what they're shooting for this year. Tell you what, they're pretty far off. Doesn't look like they're getting to 65,000 in 2023.
They need to put their focuses on reserves. They'd get more people in there.
Weekend warriors.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, there's some I can't stand the arrogance of some people who are like weekend warriors, man.
Mm.
There's so many people I've met who were like just thought like. Don't get me wrong. There's some people I met who were in like National Guard or Army of the National Guard, whatever.
Yeah.
And they went overseas and like they deployed and stuff like that, and they did some rough deployments and they seen some shit. And so like I totally respect for them, but there's way more people I met in the National Guard or things like that that like ain't seen fucking shit, and they think they're the hottest, biggest swinging dick in the block, and they're usually like, I'll be honest, man. A lot of them used to be Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
A lot of them were Boy Scouts up until the Boy Scouts said, can't be a Boy Scout no more. You have to go into the real world. And a lot of them went right into the National Guard because joining the military was scary and they didn't want to leave Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that, but I think that in general, you could also, I think there's a lot of guys out there who are disenfranchised with the idea of being like, I'm not giving you 4 to 6 years. I don't know who the president's going to be that next time or whatever. And as far as my full-time life to this, but I'm willing to put in time to be a part of this and serve in this way. And so I don't know what sort of, there's always commercials on for Air National Guard and these things, but I just wonder what.
It ranges from 3 to 6 years for each.
Yeah.
For their contracts.
Yep. But just to ask people to go full active duty, 4 years. And it can be a great path for people, but it's also it is a big commitment and people should be committed. But at the same time, there's just upping that program, I think, is a way to like get more people involved with service of the country.
You won't catch me dead doing it.
Yeah.
Not in a million years.
Nope.
Only way I'd ever enlist, or like not even enlist, the only way I'd ever get involved with the military was if the draft came back.
Mm-hmm.
And they like, because I think actually you and I are getting close to out of the age bracket.
Oh, yeah.
Of the draft. But if it came back, in order to dodge the draft of being drafted and becoming a private,
yeah,
I would just go in as an officer. Like,
yep.
Just, I know I'm smart enough. I know I got enough technical skill and enough physical skill that I could go in and pass officer candidate school and get in there and try to get something a little bit more cushy. Especially like, I don't know, bro. Especially if it was a draft for like this current modern day, like political shitstorm where I'm like, I will not fight for you. I'm not going to go kill people for you. I'll kill people for the sake of protecting other Americans. But dude, I'm not going to go defend what a lot of politicians believe America is or what they're trying to make America be.
Yeah. That's I've used similarly like with my wife, like toyed around with like getting like going into the military a couple times, and I was just tell her, I'm like, listen, if I better just get in now.
No, dude, don't.
No, but here's just being like, get in now, become an officer, climb a few ranks, instead of in 5 years. It's like, in 5 years, if we're going to war with Russia or China anyways, it's a lot better to start off a little up the ladder than just being sucked in, just same thing you're saying about,
But do you still, there's no way in hell I'd ever leave my current job to go get in the military.
For me, not at this point, no.
Especially with how many entrepreneurial things you get your toes in.
Yeah.
No, you sacrifice all those,
Yeah, no. It's still, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'll still listen to a podcast every once in a while. It gets me like, oh man,
Jazz.
That'd be the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
But it's just the
caveman who wants to break skulls.
That, and also just like the allure of and the glory of like, the brotherhood and the fighting and the war. And war has like an alluring aspect to it for guys. But
I think it does to guys who haven't seen real war.
So that's
like you and I haven't seen real war.
Exactly. So that's part of the problem is now I'm like I wish that I'd had that in my past just enough so that I had it out of my system. Because it's like, will I be like, when I'm 50, 60, 70, will I still have the same little boyish understanding of war and like a little gleam in my eye about how great and glorious it is? When the practical side of me goes, I do actually know what war is, as far as like it's hell and it's killing, it's not good. But then there's just that little part of you that didn't get the chance to lose it out of you. But it comes at a very high cost in some people's cases, many people's cases, to learn that lesson.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, bro, you won't survive to know what war is if you don't get some ghosthood.
Yeah.
Hey, Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Ghosthood, sponsor us, because I love your shit, dude. And I want some so bad. I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on some. But I did just pull the trigger on some dope-ass flannels.
Oh, yeah?
To go with my cowboy, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you walked in here with a new hat today. You've been talking about it for a little while.
Dude, I've been talking about this hat for years. I found this hat online. I've wanted it for probably going on 2 years now.
Oh, yeah.
3 years, maybe. But it's made by Nuts and Hats. It's a 6X beaver felt, as most nice hats are made out of beaver felt, or beaver pelt. But it's a 6X and made in the USA.
Nice, man.
Made in California.
I thought it said Stetson in there. It's not a Stetson.
It is a Stetson. It's Stetson felt.
Ah, okay.
But it's made by Knudsen. Knudsen is the company. They're a small company who primarily makes replica hats from movies and things like that.
Okay.
And this is a hat that I saw a long time ago when I was a young man. The character who wore this hat was a character who made me want to actually get into law enforcement.
Really?
Yeah, and try it out. And so I got, it's the silver belly felt silver belly pelt. I keep on saying felt, and I feel like felt's not proper because I feel like felt is usually faux, and pelt is real.
Well, no, well, felt
is usually fake, is what I feel like when I usually see like felt hats. Usually aren't actual beaver pelt or
right. Well, true felt. If a true felt hat is still
a pelt.
Yeah. It's turned into a felt, but now like modern felt is usually something synthetic, but you can make true felt out of beaver.
It's a hat that I know I'm gonna wear a lot, but I didn't want it looking too clean because I was afraid when it was clean, I would be afraid of getting it. Like I'd be afraid of wearing it and letting it get worn.
Right.
My plan is honestly to wear it to the point where it's so worn that I'm like, well, I better just get another one.
Yep.
And then I'll have my worn one and my fresh one.
Yeah, your church hat.
My church hat and my work hat.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the thing where they do a little bit of staining around the crown, and then they put this 1-to-1 belt around the top of around the base of the crown.
That's a good hat band.
And this brim has always been one of the brims I've been most in love with because I don't like flat brim hats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the real curve hats because I don't think the real curve hats are very legitimate. Because the point of these hats was to keep rain and the wind and the sun away from you. Literally for you to put your head down and break wind buffeting against your cheeks, to ride and keep rain from just pelting your face and getting in your eyes, and to keep the sun from just burning your nose off and scabbing up. And so when I see hats that have like super curved, like steep, you know, like the Kenny Chesney rolled hats, I'm just like, I get that's a style and that's totally fine, you know, rock whatever you want. But for me, I'm like, I want something that I could wear that still has utility. And so this like style of like a pulled dip on the front and then just the slightest roll towards the back to another pull. And then the crimped like pinch. I can't remember what that's called on the top of the crown. But the way that crown is, I've always loved it. But here, take a look at it, man. Hold it. Put it on your noggin and see how much bigger my noggin is than yours.
I like it. Did you mention what cop or who was it?
I didn't mention it.
Oh,
I did not.
Are you going to?
Nah.
All right.
I'll leave that as a little like childhood nostalgia for myself. Take your headphones off and put it on, dude.
Yeah.
Put it on that greasy mop you call a head.
Yeah. It's not too much bigger.
You have a lot more hair on the top of your head than I do, though. That's so true. Your hair might be helping.
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah.
It's a clean hat. Like that. What's that picture on the inside? Oh, cowboy with his horse on the inside there.
Yeah.
Pretty good. A bow in the back in case, just to let you know which side goes on the back.
Exactly. Oh, I mean, the buckle also helps with that too.
Yeah.
But I love it, bro. And it's like, it's not too big of a brim hat, you know? I think it's technically considered in the category of a 10-gallon. Now, I don't know where those 10 gallons go. In my noggin's not 10-gallon head.
Yeah. Because there's 10-gallon hats, there's 5-gallon hats. And you're pushing towards a 5-galloner.
Yeah, but haven't you ever heard the expression of
10-gallon hat?
No, that's a 20-gallon head and a 10-gallon hat.
Yeah, I have heard that expression.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, I love it, and like it's just like wide enough that I feel like it's like clearly not fedora.
Yeah,
but it's referred to in this by this lawman when someone asks him what kind of hat is that, he says it's businessman Stetson. But it's the proper size to like wear it while you're in the car and not have it clonking off of everything.
The top of the head.
And you can actually get in and outside of the car without it like bonking off of all the trim and stuff like that. But anyways, gift from the wife. We took my head measurements. I showed her what I wanted. I told her, you know, because there's like 5 different levels of, you know, the quality of felt. I told her, and like the minimum one was like $200 or whatever. I was like, get whatever you think is within reason, you know, in our budget. She got a 6X1, which I think was like, I haven't looked it up, but I think I remember that being like somewhere in the 300s range. So I take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually the only article of clothing I have that I'd actually get in a fight over.
I like it.
Like, I think I could, like, I think if someone biffed it off my head.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, not only is it expensive
Uh-huh.
and it's something I've idolized and looked up to for a long time, but it's a birthday gift from my wife.
Yeah.
And I think I could go into like a dark place if someone knocked it off my head or like stepped on it or, you know, or poured liquid on it. Anywho, what are you thinking over there? You seem like you're stewing up something. Like are you trying to do some detective sleuthing to figure out whose hat it is?
I maybe was briefly, but the reminds me of have you ever heard the Chris? You know who Chris Ledoux is?
No.
Yeah, he's a old country artist, but there's a song called "This Cowboy's Hat." You should listen to it on your way home tonight.
Okay. Why? It's about a hat from his wife.
It's about a hat he might get in a fight over.
Dude,
it's worth your time.
In the show, he doesn't get in a fight. He gets in a fight and loses the hat because he loses the fight. He's a little drunk.
Oh yeah.
Some good old boys beat his ass at the bar, and they take his hat. But then he goes back and he's like, all I want is a hat. I'm not looking for another fight, but I'm not leaving until I get the hat.
Yeah, it's Owen Wilson in in freaking High Noon or Shanghai Noon.
No. Dude, honestly, Shanghai Noon is like the Shanghai Noon movies are such a bummer because you see Jackie Chan's chemistry with Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
And you just know Owen Wilson and him don't even have remotely close to the same chemistry.
This is true. But I do love to turn on old Shanghai Noon every once in a while.
I'll never watch those movies again.
Yeah.
Just because I know whenever the opportunity is for those, it's also an opportunity to watch Rush Hour 1 or 2.
This is true.
I don't believe Rush Hour 3 exists, but Rush Hour 1 and 2 are great.
They're good movies. They're great. I was watching this movie with Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville.
What?
I never finished it. I got like 30 minutes in. I fell asleep. I had to re-look it up. But
Johnny Knoxville's actually kind of decent. Excuse me, in some movies.
I feel like it's funny. Like some of the Jackass guys have aged really well.
Steve-O is. Have you ever watched Steve-O's podcast?
He's come a long ass way,
dude. I almost cry sometimes when I hear Steve-O just talk about things he's learned. Because it comes from such a place of humility, dude. Like, you hear him talk about how he genuinely wishes he could just go back and love that kid. Not that he wants to not do Jackass, right? Like, because those are the best memories of his life, right? But how he just thinks about, like, where he was before that show. And how he's just like, dude, that guy just needed more love, more hugs. And he really does live that out. Like, he's so nice to everyone he meets on the road. Other than other Jackass guys. He meets other Jackass guys on the road, and they just trash each other. They just are always razzing one another. But Steve-O is like that weird dude that you listen to, and you're like, wow, this guy who I thought was such kind of like a trailer park idiot has gained a lot of wisdom and is actually listening to it, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, it makes sense too, like the type of guy who will go through all the things he went through, like in Jackass, it's all just like roots from a place of like a deep need for attention and love. You know, like to like be like the guy who's like, oh, will you be I'll do this if you'll be my friend, or like I'll do like, and they don't even know they're doing it sometimes with like just for attention, just cries for attention to you know do all the things they do. In his story, I mean, I think he's been sober for a long time now.
He's been sober for a while.
Yeah, with all
he's pretty like, he's talked about like he had some good times with drugs, but he never had good times just with drugs. You know what I mean? It was like he was like, I had good times with friends. I'll like doing a bump of coke and getting high. It's like, look, man, like of course I'm never gonna do that, but I get it. You lived a wild fucking life, and you and I have different values, but for him to be like, but drugs are bad, and like I could have had just as much fun with those guys without drugs, without being like brutally addicted to coke.
And he was in like to just everything as far as like just like ketamine, all this heavy stuff, barbiturates mess you up.
Oh yeah.
Some of the other Jackass guys didn't age so well.
Like Bam Margera, who just got another, what was it, restraining order? Not restraining order, but he went to jail because he was beating his wife.
Really?
And it was like the third time.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, Steve-O actually talked about that, about how Bam just never grew up.
Yeah. Like this newest Jackass movie, they didn't let him on it.
Yeah.
And they made I think they made a contract with him. And like if he stuck to a couple things, he could be on it, but he didn't.
Well, have you ever, I mean, he was never the same as those guys.
No.
Like Bam was never really equal to the Jackass crew, in my opinion. Like, did you watch a lot of Jackass growing up?
I watched some of it. I never watched it as a kid, but I've watched some of it now. And like, he's the kid who stands in the fight and like eggs it on from both sides. And then while somebody's down, when one of them's down, runs in and gets a kick in.
Yeah.
Like he's always been that guy.
Yeah.
With like, you know, kind of the can't take it, but likes to kind of dish it out. You'll see that with, like throughout, but like I think that's kind of the way he was. And he's a mess, just a mess, dude.
Yeah, bro. And he had such a good background. Like his parents were successful, and he was building a successful brand.
Because his trajectory was going to go further than all the other guys.
Oh yeah, because he was coming from real money.
Yeah, real money. Pro skateboarder when he had his own show, all that stuff. Like when I was in middle school, early high school, like he was like everybody knew Bam Margera.
Dude, yeah. And I remember so many people idolized him and like dressed like him. Always like,
oh yeah.
And it was so weird because I always thought Bam was such a pussy.
I thought he was a douchebag. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, dude, I remember like thinking like this guy is such a pussy, and so many people wanted to be him. It was always the same people too, dude. It was always like the same rich, like white kids coming from a neighborhood that was like ticky tacky boxes, and every white kid coming out of that neighborhood either wanted to be Eminem or Bam Margera. Yeah, and I was just like, I was so fucking over it, dude. But it's crazy to see like which of them have succeeded. Dude, did you ever watch the Steve-O tour podcast interview where he interviews Frankie Muniz?
No, that sounds pretty interesting.
Dude. Yeah,
Frankie Muniz had his own stuff and like,
but Frankie never did drugs. Dude.
He never. Yeah, no, he never. He was one of the few to like.
Do you know what he got addicted to? Do you know what like took all of his money?
Was it gambling or something? Or
I don't. It might have been some gambling, but more than anything was cars.
Oh yeah.
He spent.
Oh yeah, he was into race cars.
He spent so much money on cars, dude.
Yeah.
And like just would like. He didn't have the tools as a child prodigy start to like maintain them and stuff and like look after them. And so he would buy a car, but it wouldn't be at his house. It'd be at like a shop or like a track, and people knew they could just like essentially take all of his money by being like, well, you got to pay for your maintenance each month. You got to pay for your driver, like your test driver, to come and like make sure everything's running fine and like check it out. And then you're paying for your storage. And dude, they just milked him. But guess what? All of his money's in now. Like, guess what? Like, most of his money's in now.
I feel like I don't remember it, but I remember him talking about some of this stuff from his interviews.
It's related to cars. He owns a lot of these in California. He sold way more that he should have held on to because they'd be worth 10 times as much today. But he owns a ton of them still.
Just collector cars, or does he own like go-kart tracks?
Not
for
actual
kids?
Cars, but you're on the right track. It's got
like
to do
Hot
with
Wheels
cars.
collection or something.
Nope.
Help me out.
Think about cars and everything that we have as a society built around cars. So like go-kart tracks aren't cars,
right?
But there's something that gives a use to that car, right? What are some things that get their use from cars? Like they literally exist because cars exist.
Is he just like car washes? Is he just a car wash
You're on
guy?
the right track. You're on the right track. He doesn't own car washes. Maybe he owns a couple, but like it's not car washes.
He owns a couple Jiffy Lubes.
No. Okay, hold on. Think about, you been in California?
Yeah.
You been to LA?
Yep.
Think about how there's something that's so difficult to find in LA.
Parking lots. He's just a parking lot guy,
dude. He's a parking lot king. He owns a shitload of parking lots, and he sold a ton that would have been worth way more money now. But like, he still owns a good amount of parking lots and makes a shitload of money off of them.
That's smart, man.
Dude, I want to be a parking lot king so bad, bro.
Yeah.
I want to own just fucking parking.
Yep.
Parking and storage.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't even need to maintain a parking lot.
Not really.
No.
Nope.
Like how many shitty parking lots have you been like, I can't believe I'm spending $20 to put my car in a pothole.
Yep. But you'll do it when you need to.
Yeah.
Parking lot king, Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
I hope he makes Agent Cody Banks 3.
Me don't.
Yeah, no, it would not be good.
Me don't. I remember being like an elementary schooler and seeing that movie with my grandma and just being like, that wasn't a good movie.
You weren't a fan of Agent Cody Banks?
No.
Here's the difference between me and you. You were allowed to watch real movies, and I wasn't in a lot of cases, like as a kid.
Sounds
you know what I'm like.
Sounds like you want to say something else there, but okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like because like you were probably allowed to watch like PG-13 R-rated movies before age. I was
allowed to, or just got away with it.
Right? Yeah. So, anyways, the Agent Cody Banks for me was like watching James Bond, like straight up.
Bro, dude, I knew which sound each stair was to the basement.
Yeah.
And I knew how much time I needed for the old tube TV to register the last channel, previous channel button, and how long it would take for it to go and flip and like actually be at that channel with no number.
Right.
Because if you do it too late, your parent comes in and they see the number and they're like, oh, he just changed the channel. So what were you watching?
Yeah.
But if you do it a far enough time, they think it's the same. You've just been watching that.
He's down there watching Teletubbies.
So I knew the sound of the step on the stairs. If my mom was coming down the stairs, I had to hit it at that step for it to change in time before she came through the door.
I see.
Now we didn't have no nudie channels, right?
Yeah.
But I did have like, Sci-Fi, AMC, Spike.
Right.
And I would be watching shit on that and then hear it coming down the stairs and then flip it real quick.
Punch it.
Yeah.
Old PBS.
Yeah. Not PBS. No.
Because she wouldn't
just like Nickelodeon.
You. Yeah.
I'm not unbelievable shit. She comes down to me watching PBS. She knows I was watching something bad.
She knows that you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man.
What about you, bro? You purchased anything recently? You got a bug in your ear about anything in particular that you've been looking into? I'm really happy with the flannels I just got, and I think you will be too. I'm gonna literally try to get you on board with some of them.
All right. I like a good flannel. I need a few new flannels. Mine are all kind of worn out, a little floppy. Right now, like most of the things I want are just such big purchases. I kind of
like night vision.
Yeah, exactly, like night vision. That it's all tabled for the time being.
Here's my thing, man. I know I'm pretty good with guns. I know I need to train more before I'm
getting more of those.
Before it even makes sense to train at night vision level.
Maybe
I don't. Maybe night vision is like you just start all over completely. So it's just, it doesn't matter how good you are in daylight. You got to start over. What else, man? Come on.
I know it's it's super exciting. As looking at this new electric caulk gun. It's rowdy, dude.
Electric caulk.
Milwaukee M18. Yeah. It lays it down fast and thick.
Now, what does an electric caulk gun do that a normal one doesn't? Because I've always been in the mindset of like just squeezing that lever works fine.
It does. Now, when you're laying literally hundreds of feet of caulking, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Like hundreds
Keeps your hand from cramping.
And the speed it comes out. It's super boring, but electric caulk gun.
No, dude, I get it, bro. Dude, I caulked so many cracks in this building we built in Mexico. So many cracks, bro. So many cracks. Freaking just put some in there.
Yeah, because were you in like if you're doing like finish work, you need to use the hand one. But if you're just like, were you doing like floors or like cement or like on walls?
It was literally like this back wall needed, like we were having some cracking on it as we had built the second floor and the like second floor's walls and stuff. And it was nothing like foundational that we were like really worried about, but it was gonna be like damage of like water and stuff. So we just gotta seal this up.
Yep.
And also gotta seal up some of like the drywall on where it reached like the original foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had to shimmy down in between these two walls. Dude, it was such a tight space. And I was still just like a skinny nothing high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my buddy, I don't say his name for his own protection, but there was like the two of them, and they were like, we were literally standing on like these cinder block walls with just like foundation pipes coming up through the top of them. And they were up there, and then they were on a string tying off like tubes of and like handed it down to me. And we ran out of white
Yeah.
So we had like this black. I didn't know the difference. And bro, the jokes, man, the jokes of just being like high school boys would be like, I need some more black down here for these cracks, dude. I need to stuff some more. Give me some white, some black, put in these cracks. And like, dude, I didn't know that's what it was called, bro.
Yeah.
And whatever. People want to say it's called Caulk.
Yeah.
But you don't say Caulk.
Yeah.
I've never met one person who was like, pass me the Caulk. Everyone's like, hey, pass me the.
Yeah. Not the act.
No, dude. No. Where the fuck do you work, bro?
Caulking.
You work with no one. You work alone.
Yeah, caulking. Not
bro, dude, no.
You freaking.
Hey, pass me that. Bro, get that cock gun over here.
Yeah, dude, the electric.
Oh, look at all this fucking in here. You can't tell me that you don't think it's hilarious. Imagine being a high school boy finding out there's something called a gun and it shoots out white cream. Like, that was fucking insane. And they're like, what is this for? It's like, well, you shove it in that crack and you just spray it until the comes out. And it's like, all right. Is anyone else here? Is anyone else hearing this right now?
Oh, yeah. No, here's the deal. It doesn't matter if you're a high schooler. That joke is just made until you're 40, till you're 60. So you're 80 dude. On the construction site. That's just how it goes.
I legit thought people like, because we would always be like making jokes and bits and inside jokes while we were down in Mexico. And I just thought, I was like, this is another inside joke that someone's like trying to convince me it's called a cock gun. And that this shit's called cock. I'm like, guys, there's no fucking way. It's a cylinder shape with a head that's spitting out white, like gooey shit. Like, there's no way someone's like, hey, you know what we should call it? Something that if you're from Boston sounds like and like but you know what, there was, bro. I remember, like, it was a lesson, dude. It was a learning day, and I was absolutely flabbergasted. Now, can you educate me, Pat? Why the difference in colors sometimes? What are the purposes and the difference between the white cock and the black cock? Like, what do they do?
You actually want me to know, or do you want me
I do want to know, because I've used them for the same things, and I don't know like what, like I've exterior stuff is what I used it all on, right?
Yeah,
and do an exterior sealant.
Well,
and I could Google it, but I'd rather just hear from an expert on cock.
The black fills it in better.
Does it really?
No.
See? But here's the thing, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This is why I'm skeptical about shit.
There's all sorts of different materials in a tube of caulking, and so like there's different like stuff in there, but the way that mostly it's usually for aesthetics or color matching, you know. But like,
oh really?
Yeah.
I thought one was like more plastique.
Because there's so many different kinds out there. Like typically if it's black, it's not going to be for like, you know, sealing like around the
trim.
Like a trim in your bathroom. Like lots of times something like that's going to be for, you know, sealing water and stuff, because it's got the different tars and chemicals in it, polyurethane base, that's going to be for sealing, or like sealing roofs and things like that. Like black flat roofs, you know, you use that for sealing all that stuff up. So,
bro, I will be honest.
Yeah.
I never want to do any roofing ever again. Like that's one thing. Like, as a high school boy, I remember like being in that beating hot, like March sun in like Baja Cali, and it was so hot, and like it was still supposed to like be like the rain season, and just being like just so burnt and so exhausted, and like the roof was just so hot at that point that like everything is cooking on it, and I remember thinking like, fuck this, dude. I'll suck a dick. Like, I'll do anything so I don't have to redo my own roof in America.
Yeah.
Because it was a huge building, and we were doing like the flaps of gravel, like, roof that you lay down, and then you do them in like that kind of brick pattern, and then you tar the seams. Oh man, dude, I just remember that sucked. I mean, it was like you start out and you're like, well, this isn't so bad because I'm
fun
sitting
for half a day.
No, not even.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I'm sitting here and I'm just smearing tar across these seams after we've done, like, the fun part was the nail gun. Just going through and like nailing all those bitches down. Sorry, like, I don't use bitches derogatory, like as if like they're lesser than. I use it just like, you put a lot of effort into that shit, and like it feels good when it's even and parallel. And you're kind of spiteful to it when you like get that nail gun across.
Definitely.
But dude, I just remember, like, you're like, oh man, I'm not having to haul any more wood. I'm not mixing concrete. I'm just up here smearing this. This is gonna be easy. But then, dude, you're like an hour in, and you're like, this is gonna be a long time, and it's already so hot.
Yep.
You're just turning into a prune up there on the roof, just drying out.
It's crazy, man. When you look up roofers, they're wearing 3 long sleeve t-shirts,
yeah,
boots,
I know, bro,
and jeans. Man,
I was flabbergasted by how many. Dude, I also remember thinking it was absolute horseshit that I couldn't wear shorts in Mexico because all the other like Hispanic workers who were showing up. Actually, I could call them Mexican because it was Mexico. But all the Mexican roofers that were showing up were like stucco guys. I mean, they all wear jeans because shorts are culturally inappropriate. And so, like, as an American kids coming from high school, they're like, yeah, we're just asking, like, boy, girl, whatever, you just wear jeans. Like, don't wear shorts because it's like, it's actually pretty culturally taboo. And I just remember being like, dude, it was like fucking 90 degrees and humid.
It's hot.
We're at ocean level, and I'm just like, either let me get wet, so like something's cooling me down, or let me just cut these jeans off, dude, because I was just roasted. I was baking.
Oh yeah, it's a brutal job. It'd be a hard job for sure.
It was great though. Some of the best memories of my life were in Mexico doing that shit and just digging a hole, putting roofs up, putting foundation up, framing a house. I learned a lot about electrical work. I was so scared to do wiring.
Oh yeah,
so scared, bro. And then like when I realized how fucking easy wiring is in regards to like switch, light bulb, fan, and just like they make it pretty simple. Like they make it so easy, like any dingus can go into Home Depot and pretty much buy the stuff and like not have to worry about doing it wrong. But so few people know. Like, how many people do you think in America actually know how to wire anything, let alone like
5 to 10% at best.
At best, dude. At best. And I feel like I remember the amount of confidence that gave me when I went home, and I was like, dude, I know how to do that. Like, I legit feel like I could build a house now after like everything I've learned. Would it be like the most amazing house? No, but like it's a house that would have water because I know plumbing. It'd have a roof because I know how to put up like joints and at least a slanted roof. Yeah, and it would have lights. It'd have electricity, and I'd be able to sleep in it. Yeah, and I just always had so much pride in that.
Yeah, it's interesting how when someone shows you some of that stuff and shows you how to do it even one time, that confidence, it shows you what's possible. Like, and this could go with anything in life, but I think it really fits well around like construction. Just the fact that, you know, to see something done once, to be taught it's something that here's what I run into a lot of homeowners. Like I meet so many homeowners who they don't really know that like the water goes down the drain. Like they like here's the deal. They know they have a drain, but they've never kind of really thought even about like that the water does go all the way down and tie into another pipe and go into the main drain line. And there's like, and then when there's a problem with the drain, it's leaking. It's like the end of the world. And it's like, well, there's just a series of pipes that tie in together, and you find where it's at and you cut the drywall and then you patch it. And generally speaking, it's pretty easy to do.
I think water's scarier though than electricity. Because for me, I think about how much more difficult it is to stop water. Like I feel very confident in turning off electricity.
Right. Like if you know it's off, it's off.
Like I know if I go to the circuit breaker and I hit the switch, and I go over and I test the light, like I know it's done. But like with water, it's like you turn off the water in the house and you're like, all right, but there's still 3 tons of water in the walls. You know what I mean? Like, that's scary to me, dude.
And like if you fix a pipe and you do it wrong, and it's a slow drip, you're not going to know to ruin something again.
And if I cut a wire, and if there's still any power left in it or whatever like that, like likelihood is I won't actually get shocked. Likelihood it'll just snap, spark.
Right. Yeah.
If I cut a pipe and there's still a shitload of water in it, I'm going to have to redo my bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yep. But that electricity will kill you.
Yeah. I remember a dude who was he was like a surrogate dad to me growing up, and I remember like the day we all thought he was dead because he got popped so bad, like full, like, dude, I don't know electricity terms, but it was essentially like a house's power he thought was off, but like there was another breaker, and so it was like a big house, right? And he just got like full, like everything, you know, like just went into him, and he was different afterwards.
Forever.
Yeah,
or
I
like
mean, I would say like memory would say that I remember, like he was fragile, like, and I mean he's still a burly, big man, bearded man. Like I still think he could probably, like, just put his hands on the side of your skull and push, and your eyes would shoot out.
Yeah.
That's also probably because I just look up to him so much. But I remember after that was fragile in the sense of like his brain was like literally coming back online. Like for weeks he didn't remember things.
Really?
Or like months, like things are gone, and it took years for him to recall some memories that were like that were long-term memories, right?
So it knocked him out. Did it knock him out?
He was out, and he was like heart off.
Oh,
like
wow.
heart off for a little while.
Wow.
And I know he was like he was way more careful and stuff. But like I just remember before that he was so, like, even in his like late 30s, early 40s, he was still like such a, like, dude, he could pick up like the biggest high school kid, and he could like make you feel like he could make that kid feel like an infant,
little child.
like, yeah. And like we were like he helped out with the youth group and stuff like that. And then afterwards, like, I just remember we had to be actually like careful with him. Like, like there was no way we'd ever be able to like really wrestle and tussle like we used to, because his brain was so sensitive now. But I mean, he still worked. Like he worked a full career. He might still be working. He might not be retired yet. But I mean, because he's not old. He's maybe early
like
50s.
Yeah.
Early. But, and I saw him at my wedding, him and his wife, and like they both just looked like $1 million. You know, you wouldn't know it. But I just remember hearing about that, and I was like, and I was like trying to understand like the severity of it. And people were like, well, he got hit with this much, and it takes about a fifth of that to usually permanently knock lights out. And so, I mean, it was shocking. You know, he went to the ER and people were like, well, I can tell by like the burns in his veins that like he should not be alive right now. You know, like when I see this is usually the result of people like not just getting hit by lightning. Like this is people who like turn to ash. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it happens quick. It's scary. Test that breaker, and then
how many times you got him bit? Like really bit, like not just like a, but like a, oh whoa, that reset my clock.
Well, I've gotten zapped a lot, but like one time I got shocked off a ladder, and I didn't.
Yeah, he was on a ladder too when he fell off. Yeah,
but I was hot wiring this ballast back in. It was in a lobby, and so I didn't want to like kill the power and everything in the middle of the day. Should have killed the power
at church.
No, this is actually this was for working at maintenance at a office.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, I wasn't super high up on the ladder. I was like 4 or 5 steps up though. And it's weird because I don't really remember what happened that much, but I just remember working on the light and then I remember standing on the ground. So it shocked me off the ladder, but I landed on my feet, and then I was awake.
Yeah.
So
well, I think he doesn't remember anything either, dude.
Yeah, so like it literally like between, I don't remember falling, but I didn't go unconscious enough to fall over onto the ground. Like I landed on my feet, and then like I just like, it's almost like that, like yeah, or like
Windows.
when you fall in a dream, and
Yeah.
and you wake up, you wake yourself up like, huh, and you like jolt. It's kind of like that, but it just happened in real life. So it shocked me enough to do that. Got my attention. And yeah, if I've been around like a live outlet or something, I've touched the back of it. Or like I was using a sander the other day, and I didn't realize that the wires were frayed on it, the housing. And I'm like sanding this board back and forth, and I kept like feeling something. I was like, ow. I just keep sanding. I'm like, ow. And I thought that pieces of like sawdust were like hitting me. And then I finally realized that the cord was swinging around, and this cord kept hitting my arm, zapping me. Whoa. As I was going back and forth. I was like, oh, I'm getting electrocuted.
Yeah, electrocution's weird, man, because it's one of those things where like when it's that small, my experience is really limited. And I don't even know how to describe like the actual like I don't know if I have had enough experience to even describe like what different levels of volts feel like versus amps.
And what's weird is actually like most people die from a normal 110
amp.
Yeah, like a 110 volt outlet. So like
because of the ampage is high, right?
Right. Or just because it's the most common thing you're working on. Light switches, outlets are all like that. But what's weird is like if you take an outlet and on the hot side you just bat the back of your hand to it, you'll feel it hit you. Now, if you take your fingers around and pinch both screws at the same time and you complete the circuit all the way around,
you won't feel anything.
You
shut off.
You can die.
Yeah.
And a big part of it is also your one thing that happens to you is your muscles tense up, and so you don't let go.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir.
So you continue getting shocked.
Because I've been tased.
Oh yeah.
And
that's probably the most that's the most electrocuted you've
got.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. I'd probably kill someone before getting tased again.
Yeah.
Like if you give me a choice.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. Now I had a really unique experience because in our like academy, they were demonstrating the different scenarios you might find yourself in when tasing a subject.
Yeah.
And so each one of us got tased differently. And the tasers we were using were these ones where they had 2 cartridges. And do you know how tasers work usually, or
as far as I know, basic knowledge of them, yeah, but other people might not.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yeah. Pull the trigger and a cartridge pops. Confetti flies up.
Yeah.
It's a party when you get tased. And there's 2 prongs, and they connect. They use you to complete the circuit. Tasers, when you see them used in videos and it seems like they're ineffective, usually it's because either one barb doesn't lodge into the skin, or they are too close. And the closer they are, the
faster the circuit's getting connected right there,
and the less muscle contraction. And that's why when you see people get like tased with hand tasers and tasers you can buy on the civilian market, when they get tased with those and they just go or they get tased and they stand up and they grind through it, it's because those 2 probes are only 2 inches apart.
You're just getting shocked in that one spot.
Yeah, and it hurts. It burns.
Yeah,
but dude, they didn't tell, they don't say really what scenario they're going to test until you're up there and it's your turn. And this guy's like, so now I'm going to show how 2 cartridges work and how it really will shut down and lock up a body.
So everybody else has gotten like, this is what happens when you only get
this is
one
what happens
prong
when
in.
one prong hits, and then you use the other 2 from the second cartridge to connect, and you get at least like a single connection.
And now like, here's the full force.
Or like this is what it looks like when only one barb lands and the other one misses. Or this is like what it looks like when it's too close. Or like what a bad lockup looks like. And the whole point that you're trained on is like use your lasers, because the lasers are at a V. but like a good like 45 degree. So the first laser is coming out straight. The second laser is coming out where the other cartridge would, and it's at this 45 degree angle. And so you use that to just figure out like if you're going to be essentially far enough apart, and you want your top laser to be above the belt buckle, and then bottom laser to be below it. That's essentially like the most like perfect, sexiest, perfect lineup.
Like chest and quad.
Nah, dude, I'm not trying to hit someone on the front, because if I hit them on the front, they might just like fall backwards.
Right, but
I'm trying to hit them in the back, dude.
And butt. You know, like it's like
shoulder blade, glute, and that's like that locks up everything.
Yeah,
and
I'd cant it a little too. Like I'd go half gangster so that I'm getting that wave to come across the body.
Not if you're doing both cartridges.
Oh yes, okay.
So you get both shoulder blades and
Dual
both
wheeled.
asses.
Yeah.
Bro, dude, and I just remember like my two homies were holding me by my shoulders, and dude, the first pro went in, and I remember going, like there was like just a brief moment where I could like tug and pull, and then the next one went in, and I felt my diaphragm pull so hard, my diaphragm actually ripped.
Really?
And it was like the same feeling you get as a kid when you're rolling down a hill and your wind gets knocked out of you.
Yeah.
And immediately my lungs just compressed, all air goes out, and there's a video I can show you where my feet curled up, dude, and it was like a fucking bug, where like everything just curled up, and my homies just had to like lay me down, and everything in me, they're like, if you say stop, we'll turn off the taser. But otherwise, it runs the full like 5 seconds.
But you probably couldn't say stop.
I couldn't, bro, because my diaphragm pulled, and I actually was on workman's comp. Because and I'm like, actually, so this is a cool thing. I'm one of like a few medical cases where they've used it as evidence to say like one of the side effects of tasers is your diaphragm can tear from like actual like muscle contortion.
Oh my gosh!
Because a lot of I remember when I was in it, like they had like an insurance specialist for the county.
Yeah,
come in and be like, so do you work out a lot? What kind of workouts do you do? And essentially, she was just there to try to like say like, well, this isn't work related, and you like you can't sue us down the line if you have injuries or whatever. And I was like, look, dude, I can't breathe. like because it was legit one of the things where like if I tried running or going down the stairs, every time, like every step, the wind got knocked out of me.
Oh my god!
Because it was a diaphragm tear, you know. And but dude, the video's great, bro. Like because like as they're lowering me, I'm just like, stop! And, like I finally get it out, dude. But it was so hard, man. Like I remember feeling like, oh man, it just felt like a lightning bolt came out of the sky. But rather than like just going through you, it felt like it grabbed the back of my head, just like put its fingers in my hair, and then it just like grabbed me by my taint. It just like lifted me up and then like broke my spine over its knee. And like it was honestly like the most like humbling experience, because I was like, some people get hit with that shit like a lot. And like but then like afterwards, I think they changed policy and they can't do that anymore, because I was asking a couple buddies who joined that department after me. They're like, yeah, no one in our training class got hit with the double. I was like, probably because
they probably just show your video.
Yeah, probably because they're like, oh, we have to actually pay a shitload of medical stuff while this guy's like healing up.
They're just like, watch this video. It's just you every time. Oh my gosh.
A lot of people would say they'd rather get tased than get pepper sprayed again. And I'm the other way, bro. I'd rather get pepper sprayed than tased.
Yeah.
Pepper sprayed sucked, but it was like, the thing with pepper spray is like, I can still fight.
Yeah.
It was like tough, but I was like, I could still like,
or in this case,
it's like blind rage fighting, but I still could.
And in this case, be fine the next day.
Yeah.
Like, whereas, like, how long was the recovery for that?
Gosh, I think I was on light duty.
At least a week or two?
No, more than that. I think I was on light duty for like 8 weeks.
Wow.
Because it was one of those things like you can't be relied upon to like be going hand to hand and like cuffing someone if all it takes is like
going down the stairs to make you want to die.
Well, like not even that, dude. Like it was like one hard step on the floor, and it felt like the wind got knocked out of me.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyways, dude, Was that like kind of? Did you get the wind knocked out of you? I know you said you got every muscle tightened and retracted.
I didn't get the wind knocked out of me, and I really didn't get very hurt when I got shocked off the ladder. It happened so fast. But the weird part was like, no, there's a second or whatever, a half second of time that got erased.
Yeah,
that's the weird part.
Like a blackout.
Yeah, it was just, and the fact that it was so fast, I didn't like come to. It was just like working on a light, standing on the ground.
I wish I would have blacked out.
Yeah, yeah, since you couldn't remember it.
Yeah. Interesting. Good stuff. Good shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, that was kind of all.
That's it. I think it's been a good one.
Okay. That's right. I feel like people are going to be sad that we call it here, but I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Leave them wanting more, never wanting less.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending some time listening to us chat about whatever comes out of our mouth, whatever pops in our pea brains and then comes out of our pie hole.
I hope some of you are out there like, more about this shit than we do.
Yeah.
I hope some of you are just like raging at us for being wrong, and I hope you correct us. Write us, leave a review, educate us, because we think we know a lot. We definitely don't know as much as we think we know.
This is true. I find out I know less every day.
Amen.
But yeah, leave us a review if you'd like, and we'll see you next week.
Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.